Good evening, investors. Today is May 13th. I would like to go over where I see the market going from here so that we can take advantage of what the next few days could look like. I'm also going to be talking about the squeeze and trend lines just to make sure that everybody understands what some of these words mean. So the squeeze is this indicator here. The green is basically it's not in a squeeze. The red is it is in a squeeze. And the squeeze usually means something's about to happen. And when it does, it lasts anywhere from 5 to 7 bars. So 5 to 7 days here. If this was a week chart, it would last 5 to 7 weeks. And it's usually pretty good about telling us that something big's about to happen on something that typically is moving. It is the relationship between two different studies, the Bollinger Bands and the Keltner channels, and it was first created, I guess, by John Carter. So looking at this chart, we've pulled back to a upward trend line, and on a week chart, it's even easier to see. There's nothing wrong with this chart movement and what we've done. We did it before, came down, pulled back, or went up, pulled back, and continued. We hit an extension of the 1618 on Fibonacci and pulled back. You can see that we pulled back about to the 7/8 extension, which is a normal pullback, continued back up, came just a little bit higher than the previous high, and then pulled back again. This one a little bit deeper to the 618, and then now it's sitting at the 0.5. Again, those are normal pullbacks. A little bit tough to stomach sometimes, but they are normal pullbacks. So we have found support on this upward trend. And you can see that we consolidated today. We weren't able to break over the top of the previous day. The previous day wasn't able to break the midway of its previous bar, this green bar here. That was definitely a bearish signal. This is an indecision, so it could go either direction. It's really easy to say, well, if we break below this, the chances are higher that we're going to go lower. And if we break above this, the chances are we'll go higher. Like I said in a previous video, we have a lot of downward pressure that it's going to be very difficult to get back above 325. But if we do break the 320, we'll just say 323 level, we should see it get up to here and maybe settle back down to 324. So up to 325, 326, and settle down to 324. And if it does that, I would be looking for a continuation up, maybe with some chop. If we aren't, or we could continue to consolidate here, but if we don't, we could break this trend line and fall. I mean, it could fall and pause here, unlikely. It would most likely come all the way down and test somewhere in the 311, 312 area and maybe bounce up some. And like I said before, if it can't hold, it could come all the way down and test the 200 moving average. It has been a while since we've used the 200 moving average as a bounce point, but I think the 200-day moving average and this this extension going downward and previous support could be the low. So I would expect us not to fall below this level. And actually, let me change this color. And tomorrow, it is possible that we'll see this come up and then come back down. But I do think if it breaks the 323, then we could continue up. Oh, before we go to Spider, I want to show you the NQ, which is the futures for the Qs. Just a different chart, but I mean, look, we've been in this channel. We got out of the channel because of COVID and whatnot, and we've been in the channel running upward. Every time we break out of the channel, we pull back. touch the top, pull back. We've ridden the top for quite a while. We pulled back. We touched the top. We've pulled back. So if something else is going on in the economy where we could see this get a rocky move, we did have a nice pullback in the cryptos. I probably create another video on that one real quick, but the market in general is still intact. We've had a lot of selling, heavy pressure selling, especially in the small caps, but companies have had good earnings. We should see this not continue down for too long. SPY, as you can see, the day we had a bad pullback previously, and now we're holding. We were in a squeeze as well. Technically, this squeeze is firing to the downside, so hopefully it's short-lived. The squeeze had fired here, didn't live very long before we fell down. You can see this one lived several days through that. Obviously, if the Dow gets above the 342 level again, then we should see continuation. I'm expecting this to consolidate though. And the rut, it found support on a previous upward trend line. If it breaks this support, I would definitely be short the rut, maybe down to this level or this level. So 2070. But if the Qs can rally, then we should see an upward movement from some of the other stocks, maybe not the ruts. I hope you have a good night. Thanks for watching.